mental health, trauma, young adulthood, the image of a woman over in the next scene.
To that everybody receives love differently and we like it in different ways, and it is important to understand that your partner has a specific love language that may not be yours, and we can get caught up in giving love to our partners how we like to receive love, and then we wonder why they're unhappy.
Mubs got beats, Kasky on the beat.
You're now tuned in with the Up Next Lifestyle. I'm your host, Hill Up Next. And on this channel, I aim to inspire and encourage the everyday average man while giving him a dose of the red pill. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and smash the notification bell. Don't forget to like and comment down below. Follow my social medias as well. I got a segment I call the Red Pill Middle Ground, where I bring on content creators and sometimes everyday people to discuss various topics that are going on in society today, our cultural climate, to be exact. You don't want to miss out. Let's see who's the special guest over in the next scene. All right, how you doing today, Unique?
Good. I'm feeling good, doing good.
All right, introduce yourself to the audience today.
Well, hello, y'all. My name is Unique. Some of you may or may not know me by Unique Renee. I am a YouTuber, and I consider myself kind of a little micro influencer on Instagram and stuff like that. For a long time, for probably about 4 or 5 years, I did YouTube. I started out doing like college vlogs and life vlogs starting from high school, just kind of filming my experience. And as I grew, I wanted to document that so I could look back and see how far I've come from. And then moving into college, really wanted to document that whole transition and that experience. And then I felt like God kind of gave me a new path to take to start spreading his word, and also just helping young people, specifically women, get through the hard parts of life, because life is hard, y'all, and I know y'all know that, but it's hard to do alone. So I wanted to be that support system for people, use the wisdom that God has given me to help other people and encourage other people in life. And that's what I'm still doing. I took a break from YouTube, but it's just because me and God have been working and trying to figure some things out, to see which way he wants me to go. So I hope to return with something soon, or move in a new direction to continue to do what I'm passionate about, which is help young women, live their best life and be their best selves.
So yeah, like you were saying, what you're doing on Instagram right now. Give a brief summary. Don't go too far, because I'm gonna ask you a question about it later. It's called Just Us Girls. Just give us a brief summary real quick.
Yeah, so Just Us Girls actually just started back in April of this year, and it is just a community for young women to come together and just open up about the hard stuff that we go through as young adults, but specifically as young women, and we can just open up about those things, encourage each other and uplift each other and share that experience, because I think a lot of us believe that we're going through things alone, when really we're not. We're all kind of going through the same things, but most times, of course, it's different for every individual person. But to hear different experiences, can help uplift and encourage us to, keep going, but also use it as a preventative. And, if somebody has been somewhere that you haven't, you can use their experience to apply to your own life, so that you don't have to, make certain mistakes and things like that, because everything and every mistake that we make doesn't have to be made. We can avoid, some fallbacks, along the way. And so, yeah, Just Us Girls, that's exactly what it is. Just a community for young women to come together and really also just have fun. It's not just all serious. It's a good time all the time. So.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Most guys too as well. Most guys think that they have to go through things alone. This life is about people and relationships and building communities with people. You don't have to go through things alone. That's going to be hard, and it sucks when you're going through it alone. So that's one of my things of doing on the reason why I got this started to myself. How the way I switched my content style from doing entertaining, trying to do funny videos to more serious topics. But I don't want to be too serious. Bring some type of entertainment to it, but it's just trying to teach young men and older men that life, you don't have to go through things alone, because trying to do it alone, trying to be this, most guys try to be this lone wolf, I'm the lone wolf, you're gonna end up in a bad space when you do that. That's not the way. And that's gonna segue out into our first topic. So many people in society today are claiming to be depressed, having anxiety, or being bipolar without seeing a psychoanalyst. Are people being misguided on what a mental disability really is? What's your take on it?
Yes, I do believe that sometimes a lot of people do kind of self-diagnose, maybe from what they've heard or seen from other people that maybe have experienced it, or just their knowledge, and the little bit of knowledge that they do have about what depression is, what being bipolar means, what to have anxiety means. I think a lot of people do kind of self-diagnose now, because even when I was younger, I found myself saying things like I have OCD because I like things to be neat, or because I like things to be clean. It's a whole lot deeper than that. And it's like, and another thing, we have to be careful what we say and what we speak over ourselves. If you don't know, and if you have not been to a doctor who has told you, that it does sound like you are suffering from XYZ, be careful with what you speak over yourself, because your words do have power. And I think, and that's not to say that some people don't know, because I think sometimes you can kind of self-diagnose and say, I do feel like maybe I am suffering from some type of depression or maybe bipolar disorder, because you know something is wrong with you before anybody else does. But I think the importance is, going and talking to a psychoanalyst or somebody that can confirm or deny, what your condition is, so that you aren't just out here, labeling yourself and saying that you are these things when really you're not. And I think to an extent, I don't like to say that it's attention seeking, because I don't like to say that people are attention seekers, but I feel like sometimes, that is what it is. I think some people get some type of ego stroke from saying that, I'm depressed, or I have anxiety, or I'm this, or I'm that. And then, people feel bad for you. And I think some people use, mental health as the crutch sometimes. And you don't want to, come out of these things, and you don't want to take accountability for what you can and what you can't control. Because I have been in a place where I suffered from, I always make it clear that it was like minor depression. I will never say that I was straight up depressed. I think I was in the beginning stages, but I caught it, and I knew that that's not somewhere that I wanted to be. And so I proactively made sure that early on I tapped into that and made sure, I do not stay here and I do not get stuck here. But I think a lot of times people get stuck because it is hard. It's not easy to come out of mental health issues and depression, because it literally is a battle between your body and your mind. And your mind is telling you one thing when your body wants to do something else. So I'm not saying that people are liars or that they're exaggerating, the mental health that they have. But all in all, the biggest thing is going to a professional so that they can diagnose you and you're not just diagnosing yourself. And also so that you can get help. Don't just get stuck and say, you don't want to go and see somebody because, you make up all these excuses. And then you just get stuck and you get comfortable with where you are. And then down the line, you're using it as a crutch and as an excuse to not do better for yourself and want better for yourself.
Right. A lot of people don't understand that, like how the way you said, you notice certain changes with yourself. See, with mental health, it's a I want to say it's a lifestyle. It's the way you're living. It's not a feeling. It's not, okay, I feel like this and I feel like that. No, it's patterns that you're doing throughout your life. I have people in my family that have real mental health issues that were diagnosed with certain things, because it's the way they move, it's the way they're acting, it's not just what they're saying out their mouth and what they think. It's actually, you can see that it's something off about that person. It's not this thing to where, okay, I feel a certain way. You can feel anyway. It's like you were saying, how do I minor depression, that's sadness. You were in a state of sadness. I seen you explain a lot of things on your channel why, but don't use these big terms, bipolar and these things, because a bipolar person, those people tend to be murderers. That's why you shouldn't put yourself. I also in college for a little while, when I changed my major, psychology, you learn a little bit more about this stuff, and most people don't know it. Most people say these things, don't understand that you're speaking this stuff into your life, and it could manifest, because what you think on the inside could come on the outside. but you don't want it to happen, especially if that's not what it really is. You got any more for that?
And just to kind of go off of what you said, you can feel any type of way. One thing my mama always tells me is that feelings are finicky. Like our emotions can change just so quick. And if you do just get caught up in how you feel all the time, you would never do anything. You would never be motivated to do anything. You would never go to work. You would never go to school or get out of the bed half of the time if you always just moved on emotion. So like you said, it is about what you do and how you live and that intention behind, why you're living and what you do. So, for people that are struggling with mental health things, it definitely is to come out of that. It has to be acts of intention, and you have to come out of, well, this is how I feel. And I'm an advocate for feeling how you feel, but I'm also an advocate for not just staying stuck and not trying and being intentional and coming out of, pretty much coming unstuck. So yeah, that's a really good point. It's not always just about how you feel, about what you do.
Yeah, it's deeper than it's deeper than a lot of the mental stuff. It's deeper than the feeling. So a lot of stuff is just you're in your feelings. That's what I'm gonna say. And you can come out of it, but a mental health disability, man, that's something that's just not something you can just get off of. It can just go away. Most people, when you feel a certain way, it can go away. It may come back, but you just fighting it off. But a lot of these the real mental health disabilities, people need medicine behind this stuff. It's more serious than what a lot of people think.
I'll say it is a serious thing, and you really do have to get to the root of that stuff. If it's rooted, because mental health and stuff is hereditary, so it goes from generation to generation. So figuring that stuff out, making sure that you are avoiding things that can be triggers to mental health, and just checking yourself. Yeah, just getting to the root of what it is and getting help. That's really the simple answer. Getting help, not trying to figure it out by yourself, because mental health issues are not something you can just wake up and come out of. Because if that was the case, you wouldn't have depression or be anxious or be bipolar or whatever. So I'm not ignorant to that fact that it's not something you could just wake up and come out of. So
right. Yeah. I was trying to let people know because most people are just going through the normal day-to-day, the day-to-day situations, the battles. That's just a battle, but we battle things. We don't want to call things that's not really what it is into our life, like you were saying earlier. So do you think a lot of people are misguided from mental health because of the way social media interprets things and so many people having so many things to say? Do you think social media plays a role in that?
Yes, I do. I think now you have so many people like on Instagram and all these social media platforms that are like playing therapists, and they think that they know, and they're trying to they think that they can diagnose people, and they, you have all these little inspirational pages and all that kind of stuff. And it's nothing wrong with that. It's nothing wrong with using your experience to share with people and give people knowledge, but you also have to know your place. If you are not a therapist, if you did not get educated on mental health, disorders, you do have to know when to kind of shut it up, because you don't want to be misleading people, like you said, and causing people to think that they have, that they are bipolar or that they are depressed simply because of something, that really only apply to you, because everybody is different. So, yes, sharing your experience is a great thing, but you do have to be careful and make sure that you disclose that, that was what was for you. When you were depressed, this is what you experienced. It may not be the same for everybody. And I think also it's just kind of people's easy way out of going and getting professional help. I don't know why, but like I said, you got people playing therapists on Instagram and people that follow it and think that people know what they're talking about when really they don't. And, social media is just such a huge influence now. And that is one of the ways, because you see so much stuff about depression and all of that. And like I said, people saying things so lightly that they're this and that they're that. So yes, it definitely plays a role in, misleading people to think that they are suffering from things that they're really not. And then to even get into that, social media leads to a lot of mental health disorders, because people are constantly on comparing and, looking at other people's lives and comparing themselves and thinking this and thinking that this is what it's supposed to be like when it's not, and it leads to things like depression and anxiety and stress and all of that stuff. So yes, social media plays a big part in that.
Yeah. When you see so many things, when everybody so-called rich, and you can get caught up in that. Let's move on to do you believe that family, friends, and we can also say social media again, society kind of play, like you said earlier, do you think about how the way it plays a role in your life? Do you think family plays a huge, family, friends plays a huge role in your mental health? Maybe,
Yes,
yeah, go ahead.
and I think it can go one of two ways. I know, speaking for the Black community, of course, because that's all I can speak for. A lot of times with us, mental health issues go untalked about, and we
Mm-hmm.
just brush it. And of course, it's rooted in a lot of our history, of not liking to go to doctors and stuff like that because of the things that have happened, to the people before us and our ancestors. So, that's understandable, but I'm still an advocate for having to wake up out of that and come out of what, unlearn. You have to unlearn as things change. But in the Black community, oftentimes, yes, family members and parents and grandparents and stuff like that of older generations, they don't understand what mental health really is, or a lot of things, like depression and anxiety and bipolar disorder. A lot of our family members have suffered from those things, but they didn't know. And, it was that lack of education and, not knowing those things and not having that knowledge. So now they do just think, well, you just sad, or, you just tripping for nothing or whatever, or you need to get over, or it's not that big of a deal. And I think that does suck for people that are really struggling with mental health, because if you don't have somebody there to support you, especially as young children and like teenagers and stuff like that, you need your parents to be the ones to really advocate for that, to get you therapy and take you to counseling and all of that. But if they don't even believe you and they don't really think that depression is really a real thing, it is causing, more damage than good, because you're not getting that help, and then you're just growing up with that stuff and it's just getting worse and you're not dealing with it. And that can just be a form of, just emotional neglect, where, parents are just not aware of where their kids are with their mental health, and just knowing that mental health is real. Stuff, depression and all of that, it is real. And same thing with friends. And I think a big thing is what people don't know, what they don't know. So, if people don't know anything about mental health, they're not going to know how to respond to somebody who is suffering from a mental health disorder. Same thing with friends. If your friend has never suffered from depression, they won't really know how to respond when you bring it up to them. And that's something that we have to learn to be okay with. We cannot be upset at them because they have not experienced what we experience, because we're all individuals. And again, that's why I always point people to therapy, people who have training and education on those things to help you. So yeah, I think that's where family kind of plays a part in that. And sometimes you even have family members that are aware of what, mental health disorders are. And sometimes they can use that to their advantage. And, they may see small little acts. And
I don't know why I did that. Yeah, I don't know what that was. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, sometimes family members even use mental health disorders that they see in their kids, or maybe little small things that they may think is like a sign of depression or a sign of. And now, sometimes people with severe mental disorders, can get their parents can get a check. So you have parents that tell their kids to act like you're this and act like you're that when you go to school, or, they gonna run this test on you, act like you don't know nothing or whatever, so that they can, you could get a check. And what you're doing, again, you're manifesting those things onto your child. And really, you are belittling them and causing them to believe these things about themselves when they are not true. And so, it can go just, and even that is just stemmed in like, systemic racism and stuff like that. Because in Black families and, poor households and things, you're trying to get any source of income that you can. And, if I can get a check by saying that you got this and you got that, why wouldn't I do it? But it's still, I'm not condoning it in any way or saying that it's right, but there's always a reason for a reaction.
Whoa, yeah. A lot of people about the check thing. Yeah, people do kind of use it to their advantage, or the mental health thing with kids use to their advantage. Sometimes to make the kid feel even worse about themselves. And it's really a sad thing. It's really a sad thing. They'll maybe cause you to even think of yourself even worse sometimes with that stuff. It's kind of sad. Okay, that's I know that you talk about a lot about trauma too as well. And you talk about healing. Do you want to give us some examples of how you, or what y'all do in Just Us Girls? Maybe some women watching the video now maybe be interested to join, Just want to give us a few examples or anything about it?
Yeah. And just as girls, like I said, it's a moment to first of all open up and share that experience, because a lot of times as young adults we think that we are the only ones going through stuff, and we are not. And I can't tell you how many times at those meetings where we talk about different topics, we've talked about like friendships and not being able to find real friends, we've talked about settling in relationships, we've talked about the importance of healing, why we need to do it, how to recognize if you're not healed in a situation, and so many other topics. Honestly, I can't even remember them all, but they all really do stem back to healing, the importance of making sure that you are healed, mainly from childhood trauma. That's where a lot of our trauma stems from, because that's where we were first. We were children first, and now we're young adults. And just a lot of those times when we open up in there and we talk and we share those experiences, situations where, you know, this is something that hurt me, this is something that I was still dealing with, that I didn't know that I was dealing with. Or, you know, some women in there, some girls have aha moments, like, you know, I didn't realize that this is what was bothering me. This is why I act the way I do. This is why I speak the way that I do. But now I know, and now I can fix that. And so again, that is so important. That's why community is important, because to have other people around you, you know, to help you and open your eyes to things that you cannot see on your own, because through your own eyes, you're very biased. You know, most of the times we don't like to deal with our own issues. We don't like to open up and say that this hurt my feelings, or that bothered me, or I'm still tripping about that. But when you have other people around you that are willing to be vulnerable and say, you know, I'm still dealing with stuff too, I'm not perfect, you know, this is what happened to me. And then you have somebody else that chime in, oh, that happened to me as well. This is what I did, you know, to heal from that. And, you know, it was hard for me. So it's really just that thing about connecting and healing. Community is so important with healing. You cannot do it on your own, because it will take you out if you are not careful. Like I said, I have been there personally in a place where I needed to heal from like relationship trauma, like daddy issues and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, to have to do that alone, it's really hard, and it will take you out, and it will take a toll on you. So to have other people around you that can support you and motivate you is so important. But healing and trauma is like one of my biggest things. That is something I'm so passionate about, because again, like I said, I have been there where I was not healed and I was dealing with things. And, you know, to not be healed, it truly does hold you back in life. And you are not able to be your best self and live out your best potential when you are not healed. Because I mean, if you really do think about, if you break your arm, if you don't ever let it heal fully, you're never able to use it again. And its mobility never comes to its full potential, meaning that you're not going to be able to pick up certain things ever again, or you're not going to be able to hold things for as long. So it's the same thing with your heart and with your mind and those mental and emotional damages that happen. You have to fully heal those things so you can get that full mobility back. And I want to start breaking the silence on healing and feeling like we have to, especially for women, but really Black men and Black women here, we have always had to keep up this facade that we are okay, that don't nothing hurt us, and that we ain't going through nothing, we all good. You know, things that are traumatic, we have to pretend like they're not. And I want to start breaking that silence on that you do not have to act like you're okay. You do not have to keep up this, you know, Black strong woman face all the time and this Black strong man face all the time, even though it's just for girls what I do. But you know, just like what you do, no, it is important to take that off, that you have to just pretend all the time, or because they say that that's what we have to do. But yeah, healing is such an important thing to move forward, because if you're not healed, you're literally not able to move forward, because your past is literally always on your back, and it's literally baggage that is holding you back from, you know, being the best you that you can be, and being, you know, living out that purpose that you have in life, you know. So
I totally agree with that. See, at the end of the day, it's about, so you got solutions for it. You have to heal. It's not about, like you said earlier, getting stuck in whatever battle you're going through. You have to get through it and heal from it. You know, just like when you scrape your, like you said, about the arm example, you know, or just about just simple cut. Okay, you got the cut, it's bleeding, you clean it up, you put a Band-Aid over it, you take the Band-Aid off, it scab up, and then it heals. You got to go through all the processes of all these things, man. You do. You really do. It's not just just get over it and that's it. Now let's segue into relationships. Who leads, who follows, and where's the balance? And the balance is, I'm like me, I believe that there has to be a balance to everything. Life is, that's how the way God made it. You have to have balance. And it ain't all about being just, we are men. We supposed, in my opinion, not in my opinion, but we men, we can't be a dictator though. But give me your take.
Yeah, so coming from a Christian background as well, literally speaking from that, the man leads. You know, he is the one that leads the household. But again, my thing of balance, it comes from respect. Like you said, no dictatorship, not where you are controlling the wife or the household or anything like that, but they lead. And I mean, when you lead, what does that mean to lead? Even if you lead in a business or something like that, you know, you are making sure that you are doing the right thing, that you are respectful, that you are listening to the needs of whoever you are leading. So, you know, the husband's job is to listen to the wife and the children. What are their needs? You know, how do I meet those needs and stuff like that? And then, you know, women, you know, they take care of things inside of the home. I'm not saying that women have to be housewives. It's not what I'm saying, but they take care of the home. So, you know, they do, you know, provide more of those, not that men can't take care of the home either, or those emotional needs. And I don't like to get real deep into like gender roles and all that kind of stuff, because I'm not really like that or anything. But, you know, women
just go into I'm gonna make it easy for you. It's not necessarily a gender role. I look at things as nature. Like just go into it, phrase it into a natural sense. That'll make it easier to say. How the way men and women naturally are. That's what makes it easy instead of like a role, you know. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, my biggest thing, honestly, when I think of it that way, I always just say, I think it's a thing of respect. It's all about respect. That's where that balance comes in at that, you know, we respect each other's opinions. We still do make sure that we come together to communicate the needs of, you know, this relationship and this household. You know, if you do go on to like long-term relationships, to me, it's all about just making sure that respect is there, and that both the parties, you know, their needs are being, you know, met in that place, and that, you know, you are, and again, from my Christian background, that you keep God at the center, and that is who, you know, you all look to your guidance for, and that's who you follow, you know, and having good counsel around you when you need those things. But for me, it's just all about respect. I honestly trying to dissect that in my brain of, you know, like who leads and all that kind of stuff. It's still something I'm trying to unpack, especially as a young adult. You know, I'm trying to learn that for myself when I get into relationships and all that kind of stuff. Understanding, you know, the nature of men and women in relationships is still something that I'm trying to unpack. So I do not have all the answers, but, you know, watching, you know, my mom and my dad, they're married and stuff like that. And they're not perfect and stuff like that, but, you know, just watching what I can, and, you know, they lead by a good example. And that's really that's all that I have on that, because I'm still young. So I'm still trying to figure out, you know, does the man play? What part does the woman play, you know?
Yeah, so you made a good example earlier. Basically, the leader, it's like a leader in anything else. A leader oversees everything, and he's supposed to understand that, okay, if this piece is not intact, I need to do something to get it back intact. And that piece got to understand that this piece that's their role to do. That's naturally what they're going to try to do. And the other piece got to understand that everybody has not necessarily a gender role, but everybody has a role, just like in sports. I try to compare everything to sports. You got the LeBrons of the team, and you got the co-captains of the team. Then you got the role players, you know? You got everybody, but everybody on the team has to play their role, though. You can't have LeBron as a leader and then the role player trying to be the leader too. Like, it doesn't work like that. So when everybody has the respect, like you said, when everybody has respect for what everybody's supposed to do, I promise the system will work like it's supposed to. Because if it don't, if everybody think, okay, I need to jump in, or maybe that leader, and you got to make sure people are leading correctly. It is a correct way to lead. So you don't have to, I'm not saying just because he's a man, just because that man is a man right there, he's supposed to lead you because he's a man. No, you got to make sure that man is a leader that's supposed to lead you. It's supposed to go hand in hand. It's supposed to be like a puzzle. He's supposed to be able to lead you. You're supposed to be able to follow him. That's how the way it goes for me.
Oh,
You got anything else on that?
honestly, that was good, and that was an eye opener for me. That was really good. I like the way that you used that, example of in sports, because yeah, when you think about that, you do have like your captain and your co-captain and all that kind of stuff, and they do play a part, because you expect your co-captain to know what to do when things go wrong. Coach isn't there, what do we do? Where do we go? This is your place. This is what I'm going to do. And this is where y'all stay, the co-captain, which in this case would be, the wife or the woman. You also know what to do, when things go wrong. You're not just somewhere ahead in the clouds and you ain't got no clue. But like that kind of analogy that you used, and like you said, everybody has a part to play, outside of gender roles and stuff like that. Everybody has a part to play to make the team, move and ultimately win. And like you said, you have to make sure that man is leading the right way, because every leader is not a good leader, so that was a good point. I like that.
All right. Okay. Let's move on to the next question. Does social media, we gotta get on social media all the time because social media is just taking over. Does social media create unrealistic relationship goals, from the memes to the celeb couples? What's your take?
Of course. I think we all really know that it does. It gives us completely unrealistic ideas of what relationships are like. Take for instance, like Saweetie and Quavo, or whoever it was, Offset, whoever she was with. I don't even be that into it. I don't even know if that's which Migo it was.
It was Quavo.
Okay, I couldn't remember, but I mean, even with Offset and Cardi B, people look at these relationships and they think that it's cute because they buying them gifts and cars and they taking pictures, holding hands and all of that. But then, behind closed doors, things are not what we think they are. People show us what they want us to see, and even though these are celebrities, or, these are influencers that went viral or whatever, and they share their lives with us, they are still human people. They are not perfect. And I think we put these relationships on pedestals at some point, and we do think that that's what it is, and what we see is what it is. You see them holding hands and smiling and going on trips and all that, and that's just all that relationships are. But it's so much more to that. And I mean, that's why you see people, getting divorced or breaking up and all that kind of stuff, and all these issues, people cheating, because it's not always what you think. But yeah, so many people think that what they see is what it is, and it's not, or that it's a cakewalk, that, going on dates is all it is, and going on trips and buying gifts. But it's so much more than that if you want a relationship with substance. Now, if you don't care about having substance in your relationship and sustaining a relationship, then yeah, I mean, by all means, taking pictures and matching outfits is all that you need. But if you want a healthy relationship that's actually going to last and go somewhere, it's way more than that. It's communication, it's respect, it's setting boundaries, it's understanding the needs of the other person, knowing if you're truly compatible. I don't think that a lot of times now we really care about compatibility, and we know the importance of compatibility. We feel like once we get into something with somebody and we start talking to them, which is really just dating them, we feel like we gotta stay. And if at any point we find something that doesn't mix or that doesn't match, that, it's so whatever, we already been dating so long that we can't break up, we got to stay together. But that's compatibility, figuring out how this person is, what this person does. Can I deal with that for a long time? Can I deal with that for the rest of my life or not? But yeah, I think it's just too many unrealistic expectations and goals, and people wanting to have all this money and spend all this money on people, when that's not it. That is not the win all be all of a relationship. It's cute, but that's all it is. It's just cute. And again, you don't know what's going on behind closed doors. So
see people, when the celebrities supposed to be breaking up and they get back together, people be like, oh, they stupid, or it's real life at the same time too. Relationships are going to go through breakups sometimes, and people get back together. I don't understand why people don't think these people are human, or or what it is.
They be too invested in other people's relationships, and it's like, you do not know these people. You have never met these people a day in your life. You are not the one dating this person. So you get way too invested and, saying that this person is stupid, or she shouldn't have did that. She shouldn't have went back. He shouldn't have did this. It's just like, again, we don't know. We only know what they show us and what they tell us. And most of the time, that is only what they want us to know. And it's more to it than that. It's more to the picture,
True. Okay, let's move on to the next question, man. Them lights kind of fried my brain for a second there. Okay. How should men prioritize a woman's needs? Should he ask her what her needs are, or should he figure it out? Some people think you're supposed to read minds, and but how should a man prioritize a woman's needs?
And I will say honestly that that's half of the problem with our generation now. And with the generation of women, I'm going to be honest, they do. And I've been there before too. So I'm not going to just put it on other people expecting for the men to just know what you want. Now, are there like basic things that like every person should know, how to be respectful and stuff like that, be a gentleman or whatever. But again, people don't know what they don't know. So sometimes you can't even get too caught up on, oh, he doesn't open the door for me, or he doesn't do this and do that. Because if somebody was not raised to do that, nobody told them to do that, they never seen that, they literally will not know to do it. But it is important to communicate your needs, because especially when we're young and we're dating other people and we're dating people and dating around, everybody has different needs. Love languages are so real. I know we say that, and again, I think people think that it sounds cute, but we really don't read into that. Everybody receives love differently, and we like it in different ways. And it is important to understand that your partner has a specific love language that may not be yours. And we can get caught up in giving love to our partners how we like to receive love. And then we wonder why they're unhappy or why they're complaining or nagging. And it's not that, but you buy them stuff when they just want you to spend time with them. You have to, meet them where they are. However they receive love is how you need to be giving it, not just assuming that how you like it is how they want it. And it's all about communication. I'm reading this book now about boundaries, and it talks about that so much, how you have to communicate what you want and do not want from a person, what you like and what you do not like, because people will not know. And sometimes you do have to remind them that, I don't like this, I don't like that. Now, sometimes, yes, it can get kind of excessive, and you do have to know when it's like, okay, I'm telling you this way too much, and when to give people some time, because it's like, you're new to them, y'all are new to each other. So, if you're new and you're telling them, this is what I expect, or this is what I like, you can't expect them to just have it down packed right away, depending on what it is. So you may have to remind them and kind of let them know, hey, remember, I don't like when you say that, or I don't like when you do that, or I do like when you do this, and I do like when you do that. So it comes down to communication. So yes, women, I'm gonna be honest, we're gonna have to start opening up and just saying, this is what I want and this is what I like. And that's a part of being in a mature relationship. When you're dating and all of that, that is a part of that dating, that first date or first few dates. That's what you're supposed to be learning. What do you want from a relationship? What do you expect out of a man that you are with? And then, of course, the man in turns needs to say what he expects in a woman from a relationship, because you may not be able to give what they want, and you don't want to make any commitments to do something that you know that you cannot do or that you are not comfortable doing. So it's all about communicating your needs and your wants. And if somebody is not willing to give you what you want, they're not willing to compromise to give you what you want, then, let it go. We get so caught up in thinking that we just have to stay with people or we have to make it work, but it just can't happen, because you crossing a boundary for them. If they're not comfortable acting the way or performing a certain action, you can't make them, but there's no need for you to be unhappy and them unhappy, because then it's just an unhappy relationship. So communication is the number one thing here.
All right, communication is key. That's in all aspects. That's why before we did the meeting, or before I meet with anybody, before I do the actual interview, I want to meet with people first. And I'm always about, I want people to be comfortable with me. I don't want to just ask you questions and you be like, okay, I don't want to answer that. I'm not comfortable with asking it. I would rather see what you like, see reminded, and then I'm gonna go with what you said you will want. I'm not gonna I don't understand how people just do stuff and don't ask people if they're comfortable with this stuff or not. They just go for it and just do it anyway, which, you got to communicate. And then you can't just let people do it to you and you don't speak up on it. Your needs also change because you get older. Sometimes you need to communicate. Maybe you be with a person, or maybe you're in a friendship or whatever, for maybe y'all on your 8th, 9th year. You've gotten older. Now your needs have changed. You have to communicate that with them, because they're going to think that you're the same person, or maybe they think you're the same person that you were 6-7 years ago, because life just moves. No one just really pays attention to how many years it's been. Life just moves. So when you change, you have to let them know, I'm changing in this way, and we have to go with this way now. How you think about that?
That is I think it's so crazy that you say that, because like I said, the book that I'm reading just talked about that, and it's really truly been a learning experience for me, because I got to a place where I'm feeling like in relationships that I'm in with other people, friendships and romantic relationships, where now things that I was cool with at the beginning of our relationship or at the beginning of our friendship, I'm not okay with that anymore. And for a while, I thought it was wrong to try to go back and change that, or it's unrealistic to try to say, well, I know I said this in the beginning, but I don't like that anymore. But that is such a good point. As you grow and change, you literally grow and change. Your mind, your needs, your wants, they change. And it is okay to tell people, hey, I don't want to do this anymore. I know that that's what we used to do. I know that's what you're used to, but I don't like that anymore. And it still comes back to communicating that. You can't just expect them to remember. Because like you said, if you've been with a person for so long and you don't say anything, how do you expect them to know they don't like that anymore? If you've been okay with it for 6 years, why would they think that, oh, she woke up today and she don't like it no more? Or
exactly.
That's not even realistic. That doesn't even make sense. So again, just that communication thing. And then even just with that, with being with people for however long you are with them, if your need wants change, it is okay to move on. We are young and we have to start being okay with that. We grow and we grow apart from people.
So very true. So very true. And you can take, I was going to ask, how do you prioritize a man's needs? But what we said, you can apply this to men and women, guys. So I don't need to ask that question again. My next question is, you talked about it earlier. Are women in today's society, really, I say for the past maybe 40 years or so, maybe around our parents' age, are women too focused on being independent? And how is it affecting the women coming up today? What's your take? Strong, independent, it's a good thing to say, but do you think it can get to the point where it resonates too hard? What's your take?
Like you mentioned earlier, the thing about balance is the key. Because if we do look back on the history that we have of where women have come from, we can't understand why women have this idea that I need to be independent, because a lot back in our grandparents' days, women literally did depend on the men. They did not work. Even going back to like voters' rights and all of that kind of stuff, we have that right to do those things and to be our own person. You were literally your husband. People referred to you as so-and-so's wife. You didn't have your own individuality. So I believe that is where that stems from, this thing of wanting to be this independent woman. I don't need a man for nothing. But at the same time, we do have to learn when to cut that off. Especially if you do want to go into being in relationships with other people, especially with men. Because from what I've learned from men, just watching, like my dad or, guys that I've interacted with and stuff like that, men, they like to feel like they are needed and wanted somewhere, not that you just have to take all the control and you can do everything. Because if that's the case and you can do everything, literally, what you need them for if you're going to do everything? And sometimes it is okay to take off that hat of being an independent woman, and let him do something for you. But I think sometimes it does just stem from that fear of being taken advantage of losing that independence altogether, or feeling like you're depending on somebody, because that's not a good feeling, to feel like you're dependent on somebody, or feel like they're taking advantage of you and holding things over your head. So I think really the independent woman thing can sometimes just be a defense mechanism. You don't want to be hurt, you don't want to be used. But we do have to learn when to take that hat off and find that balance that I'm independent, but it's okay for me to allow him to lead and to do things. And even that, sometimes you may need to go get therapy for that, because it can be deeply a lot of things. What you seen your mama do and what your daddy didn't do and all that. Maybe past relationships you've been in, maybe a controlling man or something like that, and that's where that mindset came from. So it's all about unpacking those things, but finding that balance is the key to that.
It's a whole lot of, I would say, it's fear, because to be honest, I got to go back to the part, the women back in the day, they did do a lot. they did a lot. Now they were out there milking the cows and getting messing with the chickens. They did a lot too. But it's a lot of fear with it now. It's a lot of fear that you like a lot of women are scared that maybe a man will do this, will do that, but it can go both ways. So it that's why I think we should get rid of it, because it's this fear. You can't sit there and be like, okay, I don't need a man for anything. Because for one, I don't like this concept of all I need a man is for his you know what. That's kind of like a fetish to me, and I totally disagree with that, of that what a man is. Because if you say that about a woman, that's saying that she's an object. Vice versa, you're just saying he's an object. So a man is more than just a man is more than just that an object. A man to me, a man to me is gonna let me say, hold on, let me. Well, this conversation kind of makes me kind of heated because I see so much stuff with this. A man to me, his energy alone is going to better a woman, especially when it's a man that has energy of good. That energy is going to better a woman, and that's what it's meant to do. It's not all about this. I got an education. Not all about he got a bunch of money. That's not all about how the way he looks. He's tall, he's short, he's this, he's that. It's a lot of that going on. Too many relationships based too much off the physical, which is the physical appearance is good. That's the first thing you see. But you can't just base it all around it. You got to understand what the basic need. You got to understand the nature of a man to better have better results in a relationship with that man. And a lot of women get mad at men. A lot of boys, that's like, especially men that are young men, if he's 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 18 through 30, really. Like I'm between 18 and 30 right now. We're still making ourselves into that man we need to be. So I think I need a lot of young women to be patient with those men, patient with those young boys, because we haven't got to the point to where we're just that man yet. We're still in the process. What was your take? What's your take on that?
I definitely agree with that. And in that patience, I don't even think, yes, be patient. But I think a lot of women take that patience as, you have to find a relationship and stay with a man.
No.
Leave him alone. Let that time to figure it out. Sometimes it's best to not, I think, again, in our society, we have this thing of stick together, ride or die, we gonna come up together. But there are some things that you just have to learn on your own. And, I think women do have a huge expectation built for men at such a young age, and you expect them to give you this and give you that, and it's like, this dude is 20 years old. Why are you taking all those trips and buying you bags and shoes and all that? Again, an unrealistic picture that social media has painted, and it's just like, you need to slow down and you need to pump the brakes. Become the woman that you need to be and that you want to be. Make sure that you are everything that you're expecting from a man, because that'd be half the problem. You want a man that's like this, that's like that, and do this and do that, but you can't even do that for yourself. We do have to come out of this thing of trying to rush into these relationships and trying to rush these men to grow up and rush these guys to grow up and be this and be that at such a young age. It's just like the expectation is way
too high.
It's way too high, and it's too much pressure for y'all. I can only imagine, how that feels. Life is already hard as a young adult. You're trying to figure it out. What do you want to do? What do you want to be? Where do you want to go? And then you have a woman that's expecting you to be all of this stuff and have 8 hands and do all of these things for her. So yeah, I think it's just the expectation needs to be taken down a whole lot lower. And again, if a man, a guy that you meet is not where you want him to be, leave him alone. You don't have to stay. You don't have to stick around and wait for him to come up or figure it out. Leave him alone. Give him that time, because he deserves that time.
Right. I honestly think that if you want, you can't have a man that's 18 to 30 to have a mindset of a man that's 35, or the wisdom of a man through 35 and 40. I'm like me, I have a lot of common sense. I have good sense about a lot of things, but at the same time, I don't have the mental capacity of a man that's 35, 40, because I'm not 35 or 40. I might have more sense than a lot of guys, but I'm not 35 or 40. I don't have the type of sense. You can't expect it from me. That's just not, you're not gonna get that. You're gonna be looking for something that you need to be looking for in the 35, 48-year-old man. Maybe you need to go with him because you're not gonna get that.
Right. They don't be ready for that. If you really met somebody that was 35, 40 and really had that mindset, honey, it would be going over your head half the time. So it's just everybody to slow down and just run your own race, stay at your own pace, and kind of leave people alone, especially as young adults. It's just too hard. It's too much to figure out to have such big expectations for yourself and for other people.
You gotta be ready too. You gotta be ready. If you do want that man to, like you said, you don't have to wait, but if you want that man to be what you think he's gonna be, and you want to stay with him, you gotta realize you about to go through some hell because he's growing. Because he's growing right now. Like right now, I'm growing. Like you can't expect certain things because we're going from 18 to 30 and 35 on. It's a battle for us. I know it's gonna be a battle for you now. Not only that, you're going through things as a young woman. You're growing. You got to realize that if you want to be with a guy that's young, that I'm not saying that he need to be doing something off the wall crazy. No. You don't need to be with nobody like that. But just how the way a man should be at that age, that's what he's going to be. Let's move on to the final topic. We're going to talk about the image of women. Oh, yes. We're going to talk about these bonnets, these night clothes, these house shoes, like physical, like slippers, like in the stores. I'm going to give you an example first. Imagine before we did the video, or when I saw you in Kroger, if I had my pants sag and I was like, yeah, shawty, I'm about to start this podcast, whatever. I'm thinking about having you on, shawty this, shawty that. Shawty. How would you been looking at me? You looked at me like I was crazy, right?
Yes, and I wouldn't have taken you serious.
You look like this man is an idiot.
Yes. It does matter. It is not just something that people make up. How you present yourself, how you carry yourself is important. It really is.
Yeah, so what is we're gonna start with the first question. What is the modern image of the Black woman being? How's the modern image of the Black woman being displayed? You can go with anything across the board, TV, social media, anything. How is it being displayed at this point? What's your take on it?
Well, I feel like it's rapidly changing, or it's in a place where it's trying to. But of course, with the Black woman, we are always looked at as having attitudes, being angry or being loud, extra, being like hoochies and, like dirty or fast and stuff like that. All of these different things, I think that it is starting to change, and our women are starting, to wake up and try to, better themselves in different ways. And I don't even like to say better, because I feel like, some attributes of Black women, that's just who we are. We are naturally kind of loud. We do have spunk. Yeah. We are outspoken. That is just our nature, and there is nothing wrong with that. But I think one of the the key words here is balance. It's about knowing, it's not always what you say, it's how you say it. It's nothing wrong with being assertive. It's nothing wrong with voicing your opinion, but it's how you do it. Not just talking about when you go out into the workforce or when you're talking to the white man, just period. How you speak to people matters. How you present yourself to people matters. You are your own, what's the word? Like your own PR relations. Like that is, you are your own personal relations person. You have to know, what do I want people, especially depending on what you do. So, me, if I want to go into influence and being a YouTuber and stuff like that, how I carry myself off the camera still matters. Like I can't be, I'm college and stuff like that, but I can't be at parties, standing on tables, bending over, drinking and all that kind of stuff, in the store, dressed any kind of way. But then when I get on camera, I'm expecting people to take me serious, or to, to take my messages and my words serious and really listen to it. So yeah, those things, of being loud, attitudes, obnoxious, and all that kind of stuff are, labels that have been put on women. And even the thing with like the bonnets and all that kind of stuff, just for me personally, I don't believe in the stepping out the house in the bonnets or the pajamas or the house shoes, because again, your image matters. Now, what people were saying, if you go into a performance early in the morning, you hopping on a flight or something like that, that's fine. I get that because I've been there. I was a dancer in high school, so I know how that goes. But just you going out for the whole day, you going to the mall, you going to Walmart, doing your grocery shopping, and you walking around, with a bonnet, or with you don't have a bra on or whatever. And see, I don't even like to go there for, because that's
No, yes, go there. I just saw earlier.
such a sensitive thing for people now, where it's just like, men cannot wear a bra and it doesn't matter. But it's just like, I hate to say, but it's different. We have to be honest. That is different. Men do not have breasts. So they can not wear shirts and all that, things that show, but that's just not what we can do. And I think so many people have just tried to change that and don't want to be real, that things are different for for the different genders and stuff like that. But yeah, me personally, I don't agree with the whole bonnets outside of the house for long periods of time types of thing. Pajamas, that's something that just my mama never allowed, because you just never know who you will meet, who you will run into, where you'll end up when you leave the house. So dress, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready, and you ain't got to, no surprises if you are presentable and dress nicely, especially with people with social media being so prevalent now. And then of course, it's just a huge people that are social media influencers and stuff. You just have to be mindful of how you represent your brand and who you are.
Okay, let me get into the point to where you made about about the dressing and all of that, and how the way you present yourself. We're not saying that you have to go out the house all the time with your Sunday best. No, you can dress down and be comfortable, but it's a difference between dressing down and just dressing and leave, and just getting up and leaving the house. Like, you literally had that when you were asleep, had it on you were asleep. And we can tell, we see it. Like, I saw a picture of this girl that went to high school with me. It went viral like last week, I want to say. This girl had on literal pajamas. Like, she had on the pajamas set head to toe. And when they took a picture of her and was like, where's Monique when we need her? She commented up on it talking about, y'all must gonna buy my clothes or something like that. You mean to tell me you don't have like $3 or $4 for a $4 t-shirt at Walmart or something? Like, it's you can dress down. I mean, what's so hard about, if you got out the bed with your pajamas on, walk the house, more than likely you didn't wash your body, you didn't brush your teeth, you didn't wash your face, you didn't get the eye boogers out, you didn't clean your ears, and that is just so filthy to me. My nose is going to be embarrassed by the smells that's coming off of you.
Yeah, you do be mindful. And honestly, like I said, I try not to indulge too much in people's lives, because I don't know people's lives. Now, everybody can't use the excuse that they don't have the money and all that, because that's not the case for everybody. Because sometimes I think you got to use that as an excuse, and try to pull that, you gonna buy my stuff, and everybody wants to try to say you don't know their life and you don't know what's going on at home, yada yada yada. Sometimes we do. It's just like, let's just be for real. Sometimes we do know that people have better than this and can do better than that. They're just choosing not to. But I try not to indulge too heavily in it. Like, when the whole bonnet thing went down, I didn't make any comments on like Instagram or social media or anything like that, because just people are so sensitive now. And again, being somebody that is on social media and trying to become like an influencer, I try to be careful of the things that I say. But I also am going to be honest with my opinion. How you present yourself is important, and you can't just walk out of the house any kind of way. Yes, you can dress down, you can dress comfortable, wear your sweatpants, your oversized t-shirts and all that kind of stuff, but make sure it's still presentable. Yes, make sure that you look like you wash your face and you brush your teeth, that you moisturize and all of that. Make sure that you looking presentable. That's what it's about. Presentable.
It's all about presentability. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, not being funny, but they wouldn't have made like pajamas and like day clothes if there was not meant to be a differentiation between them and when you wore them. We literally know pajamas are made to sleep in, and then you have your day clothes. So they wouldn't have made two different types of clothing if they were, you could wear anything, anytime, anywhere. So
yeah. People are just, and my whole thing about the image is, what if somebody can get inspiration out of seeing how raggedy you look, maybe they go make a skit about you, or maybe they make an animation and it's based off of you. Like, what if the girl that went viral that was from my high school, somebody make a whole cartoon off of the way she looking and use her character, and just by looking at her, they make some type of judgment and present this woman not only how the way she looked, what she had on, but also gave her all of the negative stereotypes that come behind it. You don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't. People, you don't want to be in their boat. I don't want you. It's to the point to where it's like laziness, I think, because I was at the park. I'm going to preface this by saying one more thing. I was at the park and I saw this girl. She was with her mom. She had on, decent clothes, but she was in the park with ring curls in her head. And it's like, but why though? Even if you had an event afterwards, you didn't have to come to the park with your ring curls on, right? I should do that. But you got anything else to say? I know you can't go too much longer now than now.
Yeah. I don't know. I just feel like some people, I think everybody wants to have this thing of liberation and all of that. And there's nothing wrong with that. But we also just have to be honest, I know that's a big thing in our society. Let people do what they want. Don't care about what people think about you. But that is important. Again, you never know who you may see. And some people may take that whole, you never know who you may run into thing as, oh, I don't care who see me like this. But you never know if somebody at the store that you eventually try to go get a job with, and this is a manager or, a director over a company that you interview for or something. You just never know. And people remember those things, and how you present yourself matters, and it can, cause you to miss out on opportunities and stuff like that. So you do have to be mindful of how you carry yourself. I don't care what anybody say. People can get offended, but that's just the truth. And, people do make judgments. And I'm not saying care what people think about you, but if we just gonna be honest, people do, like you said, making up negative stereotypes and stuff like that, or, following, and saying that, oh, I guess it is true about Black women that they this, and that because she was in Walmart looking like this. It's just like, we know it happens. Is it a good thing? No, but it's reality as well. So
Right.
That's my thing.
Just like we hold men accountable for sagging and all of this thing and all of these things, women gotta hold other women accountable too for how the way they dress. And you can't be in your feelings because if you got the money, you're not in some South African tribe. You got on pajamas. If you got pajamas on, I'm pretty sure you bought that or you were gifted that. Somebody either need to gift you some more clothes or you need to spend your money to buy you something decent in public. And I'm pretty sure people have it. Pretty sure people just don't think, they just don't care. And it's like this. I don't like how the way it embarrasses all of us. You are representing me and the people. Like I said, you don't have to be dressed up. You don't have to be dressed up, but you can be dressed appropriate. And the image is everything. How the way you dress, how the way you present yourself, what you speak, how the way you speak, how the way you talk to people, how the way you treat people. Is not only the first impression is the dress. The next impression is how the way your character. And if my whole thing is what's on the inside manifests on the outside, the way you look, how the way you present yourself is going to limit your opportunities, because most people know if they looking like this, more than likely they think some type of way, and it's almost nine out of 10 times is correct. What manifests on the inside is going to project itself on the outside. You got anything else to say with that real quick?
Oh, that's very true. Like they say, when you look good, you feel good. And, when you have high self-esteem, you care about how you look, you care about how you look. And that is a good point. And it is important to make sure that you carry yourself properly. Simply as that.
All right, okay, we're gonna end it right there, y'all. If you're a woman, go ahead and check out Just Us Girls. Try to get in the group if you can. Make sure you go follow our social medias. You can go ahead and shout yourself out and everything.
Yes, follow me. I really only use Instagram now. I didn't delete a Snapchat. I ain't messing with that no more. But my Instagram is UNIIQ.UEE. That's my Instagram. Let's just say, or you can just try looking up Unique Renee. That might work as well. But yeah, make sure y'all come. If you're a lady watching this, a young girl, there is no age limit really on it. I mean, it's young adults, but I have girls that are 18 that are in there. I have one that's, I think, like 23 that's in there. So there is a wide range of ages in there, which is what I love to share the experience. So please be sure to come out and also follow me on Instagram because I have some new endeavors taking place soon. Pertaining to like YouTube and all that. So be on the lookout for that. And
yeah, let them know what your YouTube channel is too. Let them, don't forget about the YouTube.
It's simply Unique Renee. Renee has an apostrophe at the end. Unique is spelled just like in the dictionary, UNIQUE. Unique Renee, yes. So be sure to go check out those videos.
All right, guys, you know what to do. If you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe and smash the notification bell. Like my videos, don't forget to follow Unique. She has a lot of insight on a lot of different topics. She's way ahead of her time at the age she is, and that's gonna make, she's gonna be great one day. She's already great. She's gonna be at the level of even greater, you know what I mean? But all right, y'all, we're just gonna live and grow, and I'm gonna see y'all later. Shalom.
Lub's got beats. Kasky on the beat.